But I'm also looking at this from the outside perspective. You know, if someone wants to post, why not? Why not let id or any of the other software companies or designers or marketing companies or anybody looking for this kind of stuff post it here, right? Or the possibility of scraping something like Craigslist or Monster, you know, that kind of stuff. That's taking it a little bit far down the line, but again, it's that same idea of being able to do inside stuff as well as outside stuff, and notifying and bringing more and more people into the fold.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
If they don't read their email, why are they going to go to this? Just because it's easier, because everything's in one place, or I mean,
Well,
if they aren't regularly reading their email.
Well, our website actually ties in with the UT Dallas email system. In fact, it's restricted only to students who have a .utdallas.edu extension. So, not extension, address. So here, they can receive email normally as they would from the professors, but at the same time, we're giving them the aspect of the gallery and the other features and projects and things like that, so it's at least more useful than just another email system.
The central location.
Well, it's not
Right.
the central location, it's also the spirit of the community and helping each other out.
Right.
If they're able to achieve this, and there's no guarantee that they're going to be able to achieve this just yet. This is still very rough, and it doesn't look pretty or as pretty as they would like it to look down the line.
Especially this page.
But the point is, and that's the thing that really intrigues me about what they're doing is trying to find ways, because artists have very strong communities. Artists are forming their own communities all over town right now, and they're all trying to form stuff as ways to help each other out and as ways to share information and get stuff. And they're all fairly frustrated because so much information is out there and they have to go all over the place. Duryea, when she's working on a sound project, there are plenty of free sound sites, free sounds that we collect every semester that are copyright okay. It's not like you're ripping off Apple loops or something, right? And so there's not a place, I mean, we put the stuff there, we give them extra value, hopefully, at least in theory, begins to drive people to spend some time there. That's the hope.
Now, of course, what's important to the students, of course, are events. So we've got a page, of course, for that. Teachers and, not students just yet, but at least teachers at the very least can post up events here of what's going on within ATEC, things like this. And of course, we have our own tabs for the site news, which just kind of gives a log of what we've changed. And we open this up so that the students and teachers can see it. So if they want to know, where we're kind of taking this thing, they can, certainly know. I've got a couple notes in here about like a couple of bug fixes and
When we get into when you get beyond this, that'll go away, or that'll be a hidden page, or it'll be something, because most people aren't going to care about that part of it. But like the events part, pretty much each one of those tabs going across addresses a specific problem. The events part of it is, I mean, I hate to say it this way, but the ATEC, EMAC, and their two websites and or blogs are pretty awful. So the students aren't spending their time there in the first place. So they're not getting the events. If you go to a larger system and you're using the UTD website, it becomes so much information that unless you happen to go that day of and you see the event, or you're willing to dig down a little bit into the events, then you're going to miss it. And too many, and these are all kinds of events. They're art events, they're Artbytes, they're campus stuff, welcome the freshman type stuff, all the way to shows. I mean, Duryea, you had the sound thing here tonight in the tech lab. You had something with Frank a week or so ago here, or a
Teacher
workshop. So we do this stuff all the time, and the hope is that we can begin to tie this into the outside world as well. So when KERA covers the art scene in their blog as well as their calendar listings, maybe we can send stuff to them, they can send stuff to us, we share links, et cetera, and we grow the community, we grow the artists away. There's not a lot out there that I've seen so far that are on this level of rolling up your sleeves and trying to get stuff done. What we see a lot of are what Tommy showed earlier, which are things that are pretty much close to being finished, and portfolio sites that look really really nice, but they're not helping the people as they begin to go through school, create their work, and start looking for jobs and opportunities.
Yeah, pretty much those, and then I guess we've got GitLab chat that was just there. That's one other feature that is pretty common to the university WebCT system. Students have a place to chat, talk about their things. They can even start their own rooms, and if a group needs to go in there and talk about something that they're working on, but they're not all in the classroom at the same time, they can do that. The forums, of course, which pretty much is just an extension of that.
Go back to the chat for a second. The thing that becomes important about this is, I don't know if you guys are into Twitter or not. It's not that Twitter is the answer and the solution to everything, although most of the tech world would have you believe that it will save mankind. What's important about Twitter and what's important about Facebook chat is that people spend the time where it is that they want to spend on the web. And so your attempt here is, while you have something that's sort of in-house chat, I think future exploration will begin to look at being able to send this stuff into Facebook, or, I mean, at least exploring the ideas. I mean, this kind of stuff might be when you're getting together, working on a project, or you're inside the community. But part of the problem that we have is that we're so fragmented on the web these days that we're requiring everybody to go to 18 different sites. And most kids are okay with some of that, but they still come back to the basics. Facebook, possibly Twitter, and a couple of others. Not MySpace as much anymore. So, the exploration of something like chat, the reason that Twitter is becoming successful and it's starting to make its way into the general population these days is it's not that it's the solution, as I say, it's a platform, it's a place for people to do immediate communications back and forth. Some of us like it, some of us don't. It's imperfect, but it's still pushing the limits a little bit and trying to invent something new. Any questions for Philip? Any thoughts? Nicole, do you?
I just think this is so cool, and it seems so relevant for the ATech program. I mean, kind of like, it's so great that you sort of thought of this and are leading the way in creating this, and it seems like something they maybe they should have thought about it from the beginning when they started it. So, it just seems really, really crucial for a program that is about this kind of merging of arts and technology and a sense of a community online.
I didn't want to, I have another example, but I didn't really want to show it necessarily because there's a guy that I'm working with at SMU who's doing the same kind of thing. His looks very Microsoft-y, it's very forum-based, it's very rigid, it's very engineering-oriented, there's a lot of lists, etc. And they're trying to solve the exact same thing. Artists are trying to solve that collaboration and spending time together and communicating with one another, and the software engineer guy is actually trying to solve the same problem for the engineering department at SMU. So it's not like these kinds of things are unusual. I think everybody has a real thirst for trying to figure these out. There's a ton of solutions on the web right now. Web 2.0, there's Basecamp, and there's all kinds of collaboration sites out there. I don't know if any of you guys have used any of them, but they work well for maybe one or two things, and they fall apart for other things. And so what these guys are doing is that inclusive site that maybe is able to grow and build through common interests and not just making it feel like it's a project management site. I've tried project management sites in the class before, and I get 3 people who use it and 18 people who stop by maybe once every now and then, and another 10 who don't even touch it. So the hope is that maybe there's something here.
And our existing framework that we have for the university, the WebCT system, it's great in a very, I guess, general sense when it's working, but it just doesn't quite fit the bill for each individual department. Of course, the math and sciences won't get a big use out of this, but
I don't know if I would agree with that or not, because I think that each department has their own needs, and they're trying to share. Maybe they don't call it a gallery, or maybe they do. Maybe they take some of that stuff out and put something in there that's a little bit more conducive to what they do. The technical schools are sharing research and information all the time.